saying that you have 25% beneficial ownership. The only exception, the legal entity does not include an unincorporated association. That's the only entity that is exempt from having to sign that law. Okay? And the last thing I would want everybody to understand is if you are going to work as an independent contractor with anybody, and they ask you to fill in a W-9, I'm going to teach you how to fill in the W-9 for your unincorporated nonprofit. You put the name of the association up there. You click this box down here, other. You type in unincorporated nonprofit association. And what's your exemption code? Remember the 575E. You come down over here, you put in your tax ID number, not your social security number. You type in the date, and most people do not have a clue. They sign the document, but you are not required to sign the certification. As long as you provide your ITIN number, you're in good shape. So you are not required to sign it and contract with anybody. Okay. So this is the end of my presentation here. I will right now have anybody raise his hand and we will answer all your questions with regards unincorporated nonprofit associations. They are the best thing since sliced bread that you can have to protect your assets and keep it in your family forever.
All right, everybody. So please raise your hand. Ray has his hand up first. Ray, could you unmute yourself and share your question? Hopefully you can unmute because Cecilia is away from her device and I'm still trying to figure out how to unmute people with these new controls. I think I think we need you, Cecilia. Hold on.
No, I'm here. I'm unmuted.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, thank you, Ray. Go ahead.
Thanks. Always a pleasure, Dennis. I'm wondering about the perpetual ownership aspect of it. Are there any strategies you can recommend for generational transfer and protection against those in my future generations that may not handle things so intelligently? Like, how could I protect the like, let's say I have a great grandson that's not the most savvy with managing things. I still want to be able to protect, his cousins and or his children from any poor judgment on his part. Does that make sense?
That's where I give you that transfer on death. Okay. So that document, then you get whoever is going to be the number one person there who's going to replace you, you bring them up to speed. When that person comes in and becomes the unincorporated nonprofit, then they have to bring their first next of kin up to speed as to how this protects you. So it has to be transferred from generation to generation. This is how you protect it. And unless you know what to do here, you're going to lose it. So realize that once this is in the association, no one but nobody can touch it. Does that make sense to you, Ray?
Yeah. I guess I was more like, because I learned with like trust, for example, that it can be structured in a certain way where even those in your future generations, if they only get portions of it to something to that effect, a way to protect them from themselves, so to speak. Like teaching them to how to manage the association is great, but to be able to protect them from their own poor decisions when I'm not around anymore is what I was looking for.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at, saying you as the secretary, let's say you name your eldest son or daughter to be the number one person to take over. You need to bring them up to speed and as to how this association is protecting them, and you tell them when anything should happen to you, you need your next of kin to understand how to protect it. So it has to be passed down from generation to generation. Otherwise, you lose the ability to keep it going.
Okay. Thanks so
We
much.
we can't teach our great-grandchildren who are not even born yet how to protect themselves, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
All right.
think Ray, it's next generation that precedes us, we're in control of that, but beyond that, each generation that is named is the controlling factor moving forward. So it would be just one generation that we can control.
Awesome. And then one last question and I'm done. So for the value of items put into the association, um, how would one go about lending portions of that value to the person? For example, if you have a house, right, and you have it in a UNA. Now, you don't want to transfer the house to someone, but you may want to transfer a portion of the value of it, like $100,000 of something to that effect out of it to someone else that then could use it as debt instead of income to be able to generate more income, so to speak. Is that even possible? And if
Well,
so, how?
yeah, let's just say you have $500,000 in equity in your home. It's you bought it for 500. It's now valued at 1 million, and you have $500,000 in equity. How are you going to give somebody else that value? You can't. The only way you can do that is to take a loan out yourself. And remember, the association cannot get a loan by itself because you are the primary executive officer in control of it. And you have to, if you saw what I had to do to buy my house over here in Vegas
Mhm.
with no income, no bank accounts, showing in under my social security number, I had to prove to the lender that my associations can bear the burden of all my expenses. And I had and luckily for me, I was able to show 2 to 3 times the necessary income
Mhm.
because I used two different banks with the same association. So MLG NOW is in Bank of America and Chase. And so on a weekly basis, I take, $3,000 or $4,000 from one cash, go deposit it in the other. Next week, I can take two or four, $5,000 to $6,000, bring it back and forth, back and forth. So instead of having 10,000 in income, I have 20,000 in income for the month. Okay, so you double your income by doing things like that. That people don't have any clue that you did it yourself. So what shows to the person is, oh, you got a ton of income coming in. You can afford to do this. Now I have people that are in the multi-million dollar, just like that one guy I showed you. Uh, I have people that make $3 and $4 million a year. What they do is they pay themselves $10,000 to $15,000 a month. So they're getting a salary and they get a check written by the association to their name, and then they go pay tax on that $120,000 to $180,000 for the year, where their multi-millions are being protected. So now when they go apply for a loan, they go, oh yeah, I'm making $120,000 or $180,000 for the year, and I got zero expenses. So they can get a loan very easily.
Mhm.
Okay. So those are things that you need to learn how to do, and I will be teaching you as we go along. That these are the incredible ways that you can help yourself and help your family to keep what you earn. Interestingly, I went that seminar that I went to on Thursday night. Incidentally, I was telling Cecilia and Big Daddy that it was at the Mob Museum over here in Las Vegas. Interesting place. 3 stories of all the pictures about the mobs and the paraphernalia, the guns they use. Everything is right there. And the seminar was about protecting your assets and what do you do for retirement. Okay. And the key thing was, oh, you pay taxes here, you pay taxes here. How can we help you to save on your taxes? Save on your taxes was what they were talking about. Okay. And when I went out to the room to get a cup of coffee, the host of the whole thing came up to me and he says, Dennis, you're probably the only one in the room that hasn't paid any taxes in 35 years. I said, help
Dennis,
me.
did you say you went to get a cup of coffee?
Yeah,
Good for you. Good idea.
you're right. You know that. Incidentally, coffee and crypto is run under an association, correct?
Correct.
So these are the things that you need to learn how to protect everything. Okay. Anything else that I can answer?
Is that good for you, Ray?
Is there anything an association is not allowed to own?
Nope.
Last
Good
question.
question.
Nope.
Good
You can
question.
own anything and everything.
Yeah.
Everything that I have is owned by an association. Every car, every property, every business, everything.
And it's definitely detrimental to say you need to be smart and not put things into a UNA and think that you just sit back and not have to do anything. For the most part, you do, but you have to be aware of what your obligations are as the secretary to a UNA and make sure that you're operating in the proper prospects. Because if you don't, like Dennis said, that entity can be dissolved. So you got to make sure that you're operating in proper capacity. So
Right. By that, no nefarious activities, no street drugs being sold and the money cash coming in, you know. So as long as you're doing cash in small amounts, I mean, I've had people through our banking thing say, I got $40 billion in cash sitting over here and I want to legitimize it. And I said, how did you make that money? You can't just bring mattress money in and say, in that kind of volume and try to legitimize it without saying how you earned it. Okay, because the governments want to know how you earn that funds before you can put it and legitimize the mattress money that people have. Okay.
yeah,
So,
operate properly and don't waste don't lose a good thing that you have in your possession. Dennis, next up we've got Mr. Paul, who also shares today's birthday wishes with Maria. Mr. Paul, could you unmute? There you go.
Awesome. Okay, thanks very much for your time, guys. Appreciate you for that. Couple of questions. I noticed, Dennis, that you're in Nevada, I think, and the associations, unincorporated associations, are California. Is there any problem with opening cross-border? Like cross state borders and across global international borders. So I'm on the Canada-territory.
I have 1,000 of these nationwide. Okay, since 2020 was when I started really doing it nationwide for people, and at least 1,000 from east to west, north to south, Alaska and Hawaii included. And I have people, for instance, there are some people who wanted to protect their property in Mexico. In Mexico, they needed to have what's called an apostille. And apostille is when you take your original documents to the state of California where they are, or any state that you did it in. But because I do it in California, I have to go to the Secretary of State and get an apostille. That means that they put the pages like a quarter-inch apart, and they put a stamp on it saying that all these documents have been certified by the state of California as being authentic. So once they have that, they were able to go register their association in Mexico and then transfer their property into the associations. That's what they did over there. Now,
Yeah, and then real quick to interject, Dennis, Paul, one of my unincorporated nonprofit associations owns property outside of the country. So the UNA is here registered in the state of California, but the UNA holds property in another country.
Okay, I was going to be one of my questions as well, because I have kids who are living and they don't live with me. They're grown adults and they got their own places and spaces. My son wants to go back to school, so I was considering the potential of how do I help these guys when I've got lots of money in a UNA. How do I help them? And I was considering my son going back to school. If I opened a UNA, that would give a bursary to someone for education, for instance.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I could pay his school direct from the UNA, and then maybe buy a house or an apartment or something for him to live in while he's there doing it, and have him just take care of that as, and pay his bills and that kind of thing. Is that potential,
Correct. There, for instance, I have another gentleman who is still a W-2 earner. Okay. And being a W-2 earner, you can donate up to 60% of your adjusted gross income to an unincorporated nonprofit association. Okay, so what he
And
does,
then that nonprofit, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, Dennis. In this particular scenario, Paul, that nonprofit could be in existence for advancing finances for tuition reimbursement for students. So in your case, with your children, that's what the UNA's existence could be for.
Yeah, so I was thinking that is that I would create it for a ongoing fund for family education, and then anybody could come and apply for bursary for that. So it would be an ongoing type of thing that would fund maybe annually or something.
correct, and you can do that. Okay, monthly. I mean, every 3 months or whatever. The key is to be able to do the unincorporated nonprofit association and protect your assets through those.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Does this sound a little intriguing for you, Paul? It sounds like you're interested.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure. I mean, I've done different kinds of. I'm a former banker, so the banker type. I was 15 years in trust and custody investments and things like that, and moved money globally using, Swift and Ideal Forex and stuff like that. So, I mean, I've kind of been around money, but crypto's a new world, so it's kind of cool. It's still digit dollars. I didn't move actual physical money. I moved digits, so that's a lot easier. So, yeah.
And as you know, Paul, being a banker, okay, everything we have in our pocket, every penny, every dollar, every $100 bill, they're all just a token of a digital dollar, isn't it? They are all.
It is, yeah. It's just the paper version of an IOU.
You're right. It's all in the cloud.
Yeah, right. And as long as we take, as I comprehend, on the Canada territory, I would, let's say, claim income in Canadian dollars, or if I made it in American dollar, fiat currencies. But cryptocurrencies are kind of out of their reach.
Correct. Yeah.
Until you turn it into.
Yeah, until they regulate it and even more so and capture a hold on that. But you're right. Right now, there's no control.
Yeah, it's okay. I have tools at my disposal that I can use to avert all of that kind of stuff, and it is what it is.
Yeah. By the way, I had a
I like you, Paul. I think you're a smart man.
Thanks, Michael.
I had a banker guy before who said when he met me and he found out the price I was charging for it, he says, I used to sell these things for $15,000. Okay. And I'm going, are you crazy? Okay. Then I went one day to a real estate seminar, and I had a friend of mine who was doing the sound system for that real estate seminar. Okay. And in their seminar, they said, we're going to talk about unincorporated association. And the guy says, well, what do you guys charge for one of these? And he had one from me, and they said, oh, $10,000. And he goes, wow.
Nice.
Yeah, and all of those detailed information, everybody, just send us an email to coffeeandcryptowithbigdaddy@gmail.com. Dennis will connect with you privately, and he'll go over all of that with you, answer all your questions and costs and everything like that. So
Awesome. Could you just toss that in the chat if you don't mind, so we can see how that's spelled, the email?
Sure. Cecilia, if you could, please. Thank you, dear.
Thanks,
Did you
guys.
have any other questions, Paul?
I'm good on that. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Paul, and welcome to the call. We appreciate you. Rick Russell, patiently waiting. There are several other people. Thank you for your patience. We're going to get to everybody's questions. Just sit tight. Rick Russell, if you could unmute, sir, and you're up next.
Rick,
Sometimes when the people are waiting, they may step away. So I tell you what, we'll circle back to Rick. Hey, we've got you want to take a couple of questions, Cecilia, in the chat? Do we have a couple of questions in the chat? And then Miss Adams is next.
Yeah. At the very start of the call, even though it was unrelated to the UNAs, it was regarding ISOR, and I think that this participant missed what Dennis said in the beginning, but it was asking to clarify the perimeters surrounding ISOR donation.
The $1,000 or more, you can put in as little as $500. $1,000 or more will give you double the beneficial interest in the VFS program. Okay, Virgin Financial Services, it's going to be huge. You guys don't have no idea the big banks, the big players in the world that have made appointments to talk to Mitch this week coming up. They are huge. Okay. And so your beneficial interest over here, if you put in 1,000, you got $2,000 in beneficial interest. Let's just say that shares are only $200 a share. Okay. So you got 10 shares. Guess what? By the end of next year or the end of this year, it could be up to 1,000 or 10,000 or $100,000, because as far as Mitch was concerned, we are going to be valued, and we already know there's a major company, global company, that valued us at $120 billion.
Dennis, is there a maximum allowable for the double beneficial interest?
We had it at $10,000. Okay.
Okay.
Now, understand this, the moment we hit $1 million, because the reason that we did this and gave everybody the opportunity to get some beneficial interest in there is we are already advertising on Google. We have already paid for 7.5 million ads that are going very, very well. In fact, the first 3 hours that Google put out 18,000 ads, we had 1,800 people completely join us. And it blew their minds. They're going, whoa, wait a minute. What are you guys doing that is causing this kind of a furor? They had 11,800 people click on that first $18,000 ad. And they had 1,800 people go all the way in and sign up. So they were amazed. That was in the first 3 hours of putting out the ad. So we said, let's give people an opportunity to get a piece of what's going on with Virgin Financial. And we'll raise $1 million and give them the opportunity to donate $500 to $10,000. And we'll give them double if they put in $1,000 or more. Okay. So I've had people, for instance, Ron came in with 500, and then a week later he put in another 500. So he's got his 1,000 in there. I've had another gentleman, Winifred knows, who put up $5,000 into the thing. Okay, so he's got $10,000 in beneficial interest in him. So there's a lot of good things that are going to happen to the people who put up a minimum of $1,000. Let me tell you this. You remember when Bitcoin was 5 cents? If you had bought it then, what would you be doing now? And this is exactly what I'm talking about, buying $1,000 worth of beneficial interest in Virgin Financial Service.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Dennis, another question in relation to the UNAs. Randy Baird requested to know why we need multiple UNAs.
Well, okay. Right now, imagine this. Everything you own, your house, your boat, your car, your bank accounts, everything is under your Social Security number. So if you get into an accident or somebody is suing you, they can go after everything under your Social Security number. So if you took everything you own and put them under one UNA, and you happen to be driving your car with this in that UNA, and your house, your boat, your plane, and your jewelry, and everything is in that one UNA, what happens if you get into an accident? They can attach everything that's under that one UNA. So you want to split things out. Now, doesn't mean that every house you have, some people have several houses. For instance, I had a couple in Alabama that had 20 homes and 3 kids. 21 homes. One was where they were living, and then they had 20 rental homes. And they said, how do we pass this on to our kids? They had 3 kids. So I said, well, my suggestion is to take the dollar value of each one of the homes and divide it into three groups, okay? So let's just say you had $150,000 in value, and you know, or maybe $1.5 million, and you take 5 million, half a million, half a million, half a million, put them each into an association, and give one to each one of the kids. Okay, and then the house that you're living in, you put it into the transfer on death, and they divide it after you guys pass away. So that's what they did. So now each one of the kids has their share of the pie, and should anything happen to them, they already have their houses divided up, and the house that they're living in will go in the transfer on death to the highest or the eldest, and so on down the road.
Okay, great. All right. That's it for the chat. Rick Russell was next. We were calling him. He was unable to unmute. I have him unmuted now. So Mike, if you want him to go next now, he's ready.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. Good morning, Rick. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay, great. Listen, thank you. Hey, Dennis, good talking with you.
Same here, Rick.
Listen, when you say if you have your assets attached to a UNA and you get in a car wreck, they can attack that UNA and potentially get those assets. I mean, how are they protected if they're in a UNA?
No. Okay, here's what you need to understand, okay? If you have one UNA and you have your car and your house and all the rest of your assets in that one UNA, well, because the car is in there, they can attach everything that's in there. You understand?
So they can. So then is it not like a trust where if it's in a trust, they can't attack it?
Well, yes, if it's in a trust. If your car is in a trust and your house and the car are both in the trust and you get in an accident, they can attack your house as well.
And they can attack whoever is the caretaker or the management
Beneficiary.
person to that trust, because you have in most trusts you have to list your
Trustee.
identification number, which is your social security number, and they can come after you personally as well.
And the trustee social security number is attached to all the assets in that trust. So if the trustee gets in an accident, no matter who that person is, or is being sued by somebody, they can now attach all the assets in that trust because of the person's social security number.
Okay, so at what point do you decide you've got enough UNAs? I mean,
It's up to you to decide what you want.
Yeah, that's a personal question for
Right.
individually.
Right, like me, I everything I do, I put it in another UNA. But that's if you can afford it, you know. This is the thing. You need to figure out, is it worth a one-time pay to protect this forever?
so it's kind of like an onion. You can just create as many layers as necessary to protect
Correct.
everything.
Correct.
It's
Correct.
similar to making umbrella agencies when you have the traditional LLCs, like people umbrella them out to try to protect assets. So you have one property, you'll name it one name, and it won't be the same LLC as another property that you name another name, even though they're all owned by the same company, the entity, they're
And
separate.
Right, and I gave you the example of that gentleman who had his 50% share of the LLC in the UNA, which was exempt, okay? Because it's 100% owned by his 50% is 100% owned by the UNA. So it was exempt from having to pay personal income tax.
Very cool. Thank you. And one quick question about the Virgin Financial Services. How much closer are y'all to actually launching?
We were having trouble launching it here in the States. So that's why Mitch went to Puerto Rico last week, and he engaged a third party to get it up by Monday or Tuesday this week, hopefully. Okay. So as soon as that website is up, I will open it up for everybody to go on there and sign up. And, if you can put in $1,000 or more, you're going to be very happy down the road.
Thank you very much. Have a blessed
Okay.
day.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks for joining this morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. Dennis, up next, very patiently waiting is Miss Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Winifred, how are
Miss
you?
Winifred.
There you go.
Hello, and
Hello.
happy birthday to all the birthday people. Thank you for having me here today, and nice to see you again, Dennis. Cool gathering. So I have a question about if you went to open one of these, do they ask for your social when you open this
Yes,
at
they
the
do.
bank?
Yeah, because remember this, you are the one in control of it, right? So they need to know if you have, if you're on check systems, are you on a terror list? These things they need to find out from you, because you're going to be in control. So they want to know who you are. But once they got your ID and your social security number and they verified you are okay to run that system for them, then there's a brick wall between you and the association. Anybody suing the association can't touch you. Anybody suing you can't touch the assets in the association, unlike a trust.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. I have one more question. So if you were really using this as an association, I assume you can do that. Could you also have assets? And let's say I have an association of bird lovers, and everybody pays their fees in, and it's truly an association for bird lovers. Can you also put an asset in there, or would you divide that function to two separate things?
Well, it all depends. You gotta understand something. Now, being bird lovers, okay, there's nothing that's going to be sued for being a bird lover, is there? Like, okay, so you can put your assets in with that. All right. The thing is, like, for instance, I have, just to mention one person, he's a plastic surgeon. Okay. Has he got a chance of being sued? Absolutely. So what does he do? He protects all his assets by putting them into separate association. I have one gentleman who has 14 Lamborghinis. I go, what are you doing with 14 Lamborghinis? I said, you can only drive one at a time. He wanted to put them all into one association. And I said, what happens if you got into an accident with one? They're going to be able to attach all the other 13. So do that. Now, in this instance, if people are asking about this, I'm going to give you a major example that I had in 2018. Actually, in 27, the gentleman came to me. He had two businesses in San Diego. One was Desert Toys, which is dune buggies and four-wheelers, etc. The other was Water Toys, which was jet skis and yachts and so on and so forth. He was renting them. He had a business operation right there near the Mission Bay area that was huge. He had all of these toys laid out. He looked like an auto dealer with all of these things laid out all over his property. Well, in 2018, a young couple came in. They rented two four-wheelers, and they went through the whole, education process, the signing the document saying that they're not responsible and all of this. And they went out, and the young lady got into an accident. She was 1 month pregnant. She lost a baby, but she ended up being a total paraplegic and she was in a wheelchair. They sued him, Honda, his association, him, his wife, and all his employees for $150 million.
Mm.
Now, he called me up in a panic. He's going, what do I do? I said, wait a minute. I know you have an attorney for your little stuff, but you are protected. And he goes, how? So I said, you have that attorney read the laws that I went through right up on front. Okay. And what does it say? The assets of the association belong to the association. The debts of the association belong to the association. So 2 weeks after the guy read the information, we met at his dining room table and I said, okay, Mr. Attorney, do you realize that they have sued Honda? His association, him, his wife, and the other people, I said, now, after you read the law, Who's responsible here? Honda and his association, not him, his wife, and all the employees. And the attorney goes, absolutely correct. I said, so why are they in the lawsuit? So 2 weeks later, he applied to have them removed from the lawsuit, got that taken care of. And he asked the gentleman, he said, how much of an asset do you have in this one association? He said, between $50,000 and $70,000. So he said, okay, are you willing to default that association, lose that, and just walk away from this thing? He said, sure. For $70,000, I'll be happy to walk away from not having to go to court or fight this thing. So that's what they did. After they took him, his wife, and his employees out of the lawsuit, they defaulted the association. One association out of 14 associations that he had. One for his house and 13 that spread out all these different assets that he had in there. So each one of the associations had so many four-wheelers, so many of each one of his different toys. So that's how he protected all the toys that he had.
Hey,
Okay.
if I could real quick, Dennis, thank you for that reference. And just always know that these UNAs, they're for asset protection, but also for probate and also for tax benefits. So they've got a triple effect for people, a triple way of helping people in regards. But I wanted to just go off topic for just 1 minute because she's only got a couple of minutes. I have a very, very, very special friend that just joined the call. So if you have been here for a while, or even if you're brand new, back in August of last year, we had a very, very influential, a very spiritual conversation. And that conversation was about human trafficking, which is an epidemic going on in not only in our country, but globally. With regards to that, I started a nonprofit with the help of a lot of you here. And it's called Human Rescue Society. It's a 501c3 nonprofit. Ironically, we're talking about unincorporated nonprofits today. And that entity organization is specifically to raise funds to support the fight against human trafficking. And I thought after setting that organization up, how great would it be to, music is such an inspirational vehicle, an inspirational tool. And I thought, how wonderful would it be to have someone write a song for Human Rescue Society? And lo and behold, the big guy upstairs has very wonderful, unique ways of connecting people. And I was doing work around the house, listening to a Christian radio station, and this commercial comes on. And a young lady says, "Hey, I'm from New Jersey, and I perform Christian, and I have these songs that are out." And they were playing clips from the songs, and I said, "Oh, wow, this person is the person for us." So I'm not a stalker, but I did some research, and I was able to locate this young lady. And I don't know if you guys have seen, we posted the link in our Facebook page for Human Rescue Society. I posted the link in our Telegram group. But ladies and gentlemen, we have Miss Debbie Nemeth herself jumped on the call real quick to say hello to everybody. Debbie, if you could unmute, it's so great to have you here. Just to say hello to everybody real quick. We're going to share your link in the chat here today. But if you could hit your unmute button, Debbie, and just say hello to everybody.
Good morning, everyone. So great to be here, finally.
Do you want to share a quick, I know you only have a couple of minutes. Debbie is such a super busy person and has so many things going on like a lot of us do. Debbie, can you share like a quick couple of minutes about yourself just so everybody knows you a little bit better? This is a very special treat because Debbie, I've been trying to kind of coax her onto the call a couple of times, but she's always so busy. So this is a rare treat. And Debbie, tell everybody real quick about Debbie Nemeth.
Well, okay. So the reason why I'm so busy is because I have 8 grandbabies. And right now I'm watching one of them. She's 3 years old and she's so wonderful, but she needs me. So I apologize if I'm going to be answering her in the middle of this. Real quick, it's just like Michael said, which I think is amazing, Michael. I keep thinking back to that, how you texted me and said, could you be the Debbie Nemeth in New Jersey? That's on Star 99.1. And, you know, you first think it's a scam, but lo and behold, not a scam. So blessed to have known you now and getting to know you and all your friends. So this is such a great opportunity to share the gospel. When I was 17, I gave my life over to Jesus. I said, something's got to change. There's got to be more to this life than just being popular in school and feeling empty, right? Feeling empty inside. I can't go into my whole testimony right now because I would be here for a while. But after that happened, I knew I was created to worship. So God did such an amazing and beautiful thing in my life. I started attending a church as a young girl, 17. And I found out what worship was. Oh, it was everything I was created for. I go, this is it. So here I am along the path in Christianity. And the Lord showed me many times, I'm going to use your gift, but I need you to be ready. So I'm doing this now. And I didn't know what he was talking about. I was just being obedient and doing what I needed to do and serve in the church that I was in and just go hardcore, whatever he wanted me to do. Fast forward, it's 30 something years. And now I have amazing producers. I have people who are also writing other songs for me. Michael mentioned the cafe songs. I'm really excited about that one because it, touches my heart about, human trafficking. And all of a sudden, my songs are out there and radio stations are playing them. And this has always been a dream for me. So I give all the glory to God because we want the gospel to go all around the world. And what better way than to share it, through radio and podcasts. So getting thanks, Ronald, getting a thumbs up there. I've been asked to, go and speak and get interviewed. And I'm like, wow, God, this is for such a time as this. And then we meet Michael and he's got people on the platform who will spread this around. And I see what God's doing and truly, truly humbled and excited at the same time. I go, wow, what are you doing? And it's just getting out there. So I'm very, very thrilled about this opportunity. If you can all go on my YouTube channel, type in Reign, REIGN. I'm a note taker. So if you're taking notes, it's REIGN by Debbie Nemeth and Nancy E. and Mary. You could see it right there, ETH. And type in Reign and listen. We put up the video just a few weeks ago. We released it. We have over 45,000 views. So blown away by that and just grateful to God again. I just can't wait to see what he's going to do next. And Michael, you're a big part of that. So thank you. Thanks for spreading the word. So good to see everyone's faces and photos.
And for those of you that want to hear Debbie's or view Debbie's video and listen to it, it's in the chat. I posted it in the chat. You can just click on it and it'll pull up for you. Copy it, save it. You heard it here first. This young lady is going to go places. So you can say that I saw her on a Zoom call with Coffee and Crypto with Big Daddy back in 2024. Debbie, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you. We love you. And I can't wait to hear what comes from your talent in regards to Human Rescue Society.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Debbie, congratulate.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you so much for the ones that said that. I'm not really sure who popped up, but I appreciate all of you. And thanks if listen, if you believe in Jesus Christ, pray for this ministry, pray for what's happening here with Michael, and that God would just use this platform to spread the word because we're in some crazy times and people need hope. And when they hear this song, the beautiful feedback I'm getting, that people, they're like, "Oh, this is hope." When you watch the video, let me just say this last thing. When you watch the video, that was my life. Like, I went through that second story that you're going to see in the video. And I had a very young husband of 16 years pass away from a brain tumor. So that's in the video. And I was left with 3 kids, and I'm like, "Whoa, hello, Jesus, was this thing on? Did you hear?" Like, what is going on right now? So he told me this, that he was going to be with me in the word of God in Isaiah. It says in Isaiah 54, I, the Lord God, am your husband. And he says, I'm the father to the fatherless. And that was it for me. When the word of God spoke to me, I believed it. I said, there's nothing back there for me. So no matter what you're going through, any of you right now, no matter what you're going through, God has it. If you give it over, he's going to take you through it. I promise you, because I couldn't even breathe and I didn't know how I was going to live. And he got me through it. And look, you're talking 19 years later. Look what he's done. He's like, "Okay, it's time. Let's go." I go, "Oh my gosh." And now, I have a testimony, and I'm with people to help them and encourage them and give them hope that Jesus will never, ever leave you. He'll never forsake you. And I'm a huge testimony of that. So thank you so much for letting me share, Michael. I appreciate it. I'm so happy I got this moment to do it. Every Saturday, I'm like running all over.
She's either selling Debbie is a licensed real estate agent in New Jersey. And she goes by the Singing real estate agent, realtor. And she actually has put together songs. Some of those songs are beautiful too, I say, in regards to properties that she's sold in the past. And you can look her up on Facebook. And thank you so much, Debbie. We posted in the chat the link, and we also put it in our Telegram group, the community group. It's up there as well. Again, so that you can see the video. And I think the world of you, Debbie, because I know, what type of person you are. We have so many people like that on our call, which makes this call so genuine in regards. People like Dennis and Cecilia and Gail. And so I want to thank you for taking time out of babysitting the little one to join us and share for a couple of minutes.
Thank you so much. Thanks for just continually, asking me. I know I'm always like, "Sorry, I'm not even home. Sorry, I can't do it." But what a great moment, even though we're trying to get out of the house. But thank you so much. I'm honored. And thank you for all, listening and liking it, subscribing, whatever you got to do. Share it. Share it. That would be a big one. Thanks so much, everybody. God bless.
All right. Have a good day, Deb. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. You too. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you all for your patience in letting Debbie talk for a couple of minutes. And I thought it would be of value for all of you to
I'm on a Zoom call. I'll call you later.
talk to or listen to the person behind the story, so to speak. So Christine, you have been a plethora of patience, and you are up next. So if you could somebody's sharing screen here. What's going on?
I don't know.
There
Okay.
we go.
Is that
Okay.
fine?
Yes, there we go.
Thank
Was
you.
that you, Christine?
Yes.
By accident? Okay. All right, great.
You look like a ghost on that screen.
Thank you, Michael. It's so nice to finally meet you. We're pretty much neighbors, or we're neighbors in the same town. I have a question about crypto, Dennis. You have not mentioned anything about that. You said everything and anything can be put into a UNA. How would I be able to get private wallets into a UNA? Can you give me any steps or information on how to go about it?
Well, you open an account for the UNA for your wallet, and then now the wallet will be a UNA.
So do I have to create a new wallet and then transfer what I originally had in one to be placed into another wallet?
Yeah, that's one way to do it. The other is to simply do a donation document where you donate ABC wallet to the UNA, XYZ UNA, and you have a notarized document saying that you did that. But the best thing you can do is to open a new wallet and then transfer everything to it.
Okay, new wallet with the codes, the
Yeah.
passwords and all that. And
Yeah.
then use that address and transfer from an old wallet into this new wallet, which will be under the UNA.
Correct. Now,
And
the Virgin Financial Service, when that is open, you won't
yes,
have to worry about anything, okay? Because
Right.
you simply open your Virgin Financial Service and now hook up, whether it's a bank account or a wallet or cold storage, whatever. To us, that takes, understand this, no matter where you are in the world and what currency you're working with, including all the cryptos, will go into the Virgin Financial Service Euro Capital Trust. So now everything goes into one barrel. And if you want to transfer anything to anybody, anywhere in the world, in any currency they want, you will simply debit one person, credit the other person in what they want, and push a button, and it gets done because the money never moves. It's still in the trust.
May I just ask this real quick in between you, Christine, and Dennis, sorry, about Virgin Financial. Will we have a card associated with that account? I
Yes,
forgot.
you do. You get
Okay.
you get a debit card and a QR code on your phone.
Okay, great.
okay.
So until Virgin Financial Services in full running order, Christine, there are different exchanges that will allow you to set up a wallet with your UNA. So
Right.
what
That include-
the one platform that you were using, Dennis, which one that you were kind of
Kraken was
suggesting?
one of them. Kraken was one of them, and
Kraken.
there's others that people have talked about.
How about Uphold?
I have no idea yet with that one. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you could reach out to most of them have customer service set up where you can reach out to them to get that question answered.
All right. 'Cause
I know
do have-
someone that you're familiar with on the call, Frank Lavelli.
Yes.
He could possibly answer that question for you as well, Christine.
All right, we'll be in touch, and I greatly appreciate all that you do for us. And I am very interested in the VFS part of this to increase my crypto. And I thank you so much.
You're welcome, Christine. Hey, this would be a good point too. Here's a little tidbit of information. Cecilia, I didn't even get to tell you this as well. And it kind of happens every year. I think I was saying the same thing last year or at the beginning of this year. Our tax strategist, Mr. Steve Stratton, I spoke to a couple of days ago, and he will be on in November. We're working out the date for Steve to be here. Steve and Dennis go way back, very familiar with UNA's structure and how to utilize them from a tax perspective as well. So he'll be on there. Make sure if you're not on our contact list for those notification emails that I promise will go out on Fridays, you can get on that list and know when Steve will be coming on ahead of time. So don't forget to click on that link in the chat and get your contact information over to us. Thank you so much for your patience, Christine. I hope that was beneficial and helped you with your
Yes.
question.
It was. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you all.
Thank you, Christine. Hey, Dennis, I know you know this next young lady that has her hand up and has been waiting patiently as well.
Evelyn,
We've got a
Evelyn.
couple more people that are waiting for you to answer your questions. So don't hesitate to raise your hands, everybody. But next in line is Miss Evelyn Fentress. Evelyn, you want to unmute? There you go.
Yeah. Okay. My question is about, I heard when all the people were talking, you were talking about suing the UNA. So I gathered that it can be sued, but if I don't have a house in there, a car in there, and all I have is cash money, can a debtor, a creditor sue the UNA?
Anybody can sue a UNA, but all you got is cash in there. What are they going to sue the UNA for? What is
To
the
get the
suit?
cash if you owe a debtor, if you owe a debtor.
No, they can't because it doesn't belong to you. Remember this, the UNA has its own tax ID number, it owns itself. If you owe a debt under your social security number, they can't touch the UNA.
Okay, but they can sue the UNA to get the money that I owe?
No, because they can't sue
You can
the
only sue the
UNA.
UNA for what the UNA has done. You are not part of the UNA.
Okay, got it, okay, got it. But my other question is, I have a UNA and my son is the president. Do I have to fill out that beneficiary? So if I die, my son can take over. Do I still need to fill it out?
You should.
If
Okay.
he is the
Okay.
sole caretaker on the UNA, Evelyn, then there's nothing for you to do because he's in control. If
Right.
you are in control as the secretary and he is the president, then yes, you do.
Yeah.
Okay,
you
got
won't
that.
be the secretary should anything happen to you.
Okay, my final question is, when you have money in the UNA, banks only insure up to 250,000. If I have $1 million in the UNA and the bank crash, can you tell me, what can I do with a situation like that? What do I need to do? The people that have millions in the UNA, what are they doing? Because the bank, I'm scared of the banking system. If they was to crash and I have a lot of money in there, can you give me some advice?
That's where Virgin Financial Service comes into play. Okay.
Okay.
With Virgin Financial Service, there's unlimited insurance.
Okay. When will that be open? Do you know?
Well, I can't give you a date yet. Okay.
Okay.
I know
Okay.
is that we are up and running in the Virgin Islands, and we are just trying to get this ISOP thing up so that people can donate. And when ISO is up, we will be opening up for everybody.
Okay. Got it. That was it. That was all of my questions. Thank you.
Thank you for
welcome.
that, Evelyn. Those were awesome questions. One thing to understand, being a holder of multiple UNAs myself, setting up a bank account like Evelyn just mentioned, it could be a challenge depending on the banking institution that you go to. There's a young lady down in Florida that I actually went to Florida to help her. And it's amazing what the centralized banking system is now, how they're treating their customers. It will make your mind spin if you aren't doing anything out of traditionality. Is that a word? I don't even know if that's a word. You have to abide by their rules, but when you go outside the traditional realm, they don't understand and they don't want to know you. I had a branch manager in Florida. I won't name the bank, but he was more interested in his putting on the golf course because he had all set up in his office when we went in and sat down, than trying to help this elderly woman that I was there trying to get things straightened out for. So just be aware that certain banking institutions in the centralized banking system are welcome to this type of entity. Others don't know about it and they don't want to know anything about it. Their education and schooling has a specific way, so to speak, of checking on these entities. And if it doesn't line up to them in those regards, they don't want to know nothing. So that's just a forewarning for all of you. And we know, Dennis and I, the banks that are more receptive in the central banking system to this entity. So if you are looking at this, be forewarned, but know that we can help you and work with you in regards to that.
In opening up the bank account, Winifred, if you're on, can you unmute and tell us, because you opened an account yesterday, wasn't it, over in New York, the Chase Bank?
Miss Adams, are you still with us, dear?
I'm pretty sure she's still with us.
She might have stepped away from her device at the moment. We could circle back to her and get that testimony from her.
She just opened an account at Chase Bank yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, I know multiple
New York.
Chase Bank holders in New York. Okay. All right. Another challenge are certain states too in guidelines.
Right.
Miss Adams, if you're hearing us, when you get back to your device, just unmute. I'd love to hear that story.
You can't unmute. Cecilia, she says she can.
Okay. All right. There you go. Asking you to unmute right now.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
So what is it you want me to talk about, Dennis?
What was your experience opening the bank account?
Oh, well, it was a little complicated. It was, the guy kept kind of trying to thwart the effort of the whole thing. He asked me a whole bunch of questions. He kept pressing me for if this was a 501c3, and I said no. And I mean, he just kind of acted really strange through this whole thing, and he seemed almost irritated that I was doing this. It was weird. And then at the end of it, I mean, it was pretty simple insofar as he understood that what this was. He had to go through a series of questions that were standardized and help define what we were doing and what it would be used for and so on, because they consider it a business bank account. So that made sense. I did have to use my social, of course, and then what he did ask me, which I thought was interesting, and this is a good point to note for everybody, is he started asking me personal questions like, what other banks do you bank with? Where do you have your accounts and things? And I looked at him and I said, why are you asking me these questions? Why would I tell you that? I said, do you want me to open another bank with you here and our bank account? And he said, well, sure. But see, this is a good point to the other points that are made, that there's a certain ease to doing this. It appears it's pretty standard. They know it. But then you have to be on your toes, because if they're asking you questions that are outside of what you have to answer, that's none of their business, and you don't have to answer that. And they don't need to be noting that in your account for any reason either. So go ahead and maybe ask me a question. I can answer back better what you're looking for. But that it was kind of a 50-50 experience insofar as the guy himself was a little bit weird, but it was easy otherwise. It was very simple, and what was laid out was pretty simple to follow.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on what Miss Adams spoke about, that was Chase Bank, I believe, right, Miss Adams?
Right.
Yes, it was
Yeah,
Chase.
so
Mhm.
so I have a branch manager in Florida from Chase. That story that I shared in regards to the elderly woman that was trying to get straightened out, we ended up going over to Chase and left that other branch manager to his putting in his office for the golf course. And she moved everything over, or eventually moved everything over to Chase. The young lady in Chase was so welcoming and so receptive and so understanding. So it doesn't go by the brand, or the brand, or the bank brand itself. It isn't necessarily all of Chase or all of Bank America or all of Wells Fargo. It's the branch manager and how willing they are to be educated on what this entity is, because they don't know what it is. I've had attorneys that I had to educate. I've had tax professionals that I had to educate in regards to these entities. And these are professional people that are out there in the professional realm. They don't know what it is. This is the best kept secret, so to speak, in the entrepreneurial realm. So don't think that it's something that is hokey. It's registered with the U.S. government through the California state. So if they don't understand, they are not going to be receptive, but we're here to help you get through that. And Dennis and I have run the course in that regard. Dennis more than I. So thank you, Miss Adams, for that sharing of that experience that you had. I'm sorry you had to go through that, but do know that Chase Bank is not overall a bad bank to have an account set up in for this particular entity. It's just getting the right people to talk to the other people and try to grow their awareness. So
Yeah, and it's usually the banker that you're talking to. If they don't have any clue, that's when they put up all the roadblocks. Okay, and I don't know why they try to do that, but I mean, it's crazy that it's just like any other bank account. You got to understand this. How does all the other 501(c)s and the 508s operate? They open a bank account, right? And they get donations. They make their sales. After the sales are done, they pay for all their overhead, and what's left, they donate to charities and humanitarian projects, and what's left there is called reserves, okay? You're doing the very same thing, and that's what's in our document. We say, I'm self-funding this. I'm doing my labor, whatever my endeavor is, to earn money for this unincorporated association. After all my expenses, I donate to my church, to the Red Cross, to the Girl Scout cookies, etc. And what's left is reserves. It's non-taxable. Okay?
Perfect
So
analogy.
then they
Thank you for that,
then
Dennis.
they understand it.
Right, right. So rest assured that we are here. That story that I shared with the woman in Florida, she went through 5 or 6 different banks before she finally got to a bank that was, you know, willing to help her. And I think it was based on the fact that you know, she's older and they just didn't want to believe her. So I took a flight down to Florida and we got it straightened out. So Miss Gloria is up next for you, Dennis. She's been so patient. Thank you for your
I
patience,
know,
Gloria. If you could unmute and go ahead and share your question for Dennis. Gloria George. She might need help, Cecilia, with unmuting.
I asked her to unmute. Oh,
There we go. Thank you.
thank
Yes,
Gloria.
thank you so very much. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this young lady, Miss Debbie, I just want to tell her congratulations and may the sky be her limit. Great video. I got the opportunity to listen to it and she's got a beautiful voice. And my question to Mr. Dennis is, it was kind of partially answered, is in reference to at the end of the year, if I have in the UNA, do I get a reference or a certificate of good standing at the end of the year for taxes? Because, you know, if you have a social, you know, you file taxes, you know, you pay to RIS. I know the nonprofit organization, the churches, you know, they get a certificate of good standing under the association. What do you get at the end of the year? What do you have to present? You just continue your merry way with the association?
I have never collected a single receipt in 35 years or filed anything in 35 years.
Okay, so you do nothing once you set it up.
Nothing. I do nothing. Whenever
Yeah,
I get,
those organizations that you mentioned, Gloria, those are required to file at the end of each term. I am a 501c3 holder. I will be required at the end of this year to file. A 575E is not required because it's a different structure. It's a different nonprofit structure.
Got you.
okay.
Yes, and the next question that I have is, I'm not sure I walked away if you said that during the cost, what would be the cost, you know, to get the association?
Send us a email and
Okay.
Dennis will work with you on that and express you know, all of the numbers in regards to that.
I'll give you all the
we've had-
documentation, everything.
Yeah. And Dennis will sit one-on-one with you. That's the best way, Gloria, so that there's, you know, clear
Understand.
understanding with regards to that. But I can tell you this, the cost, the out-of-pocket cost based on what your let's call it coverage, so to speak, is there's no comparison for the cost. So
Okay. And also the last question that I have is, can you give us to differentiate a trust from an association? Because I remember setting up a trust and just give
Well,
us the difference, please.
Gloria, like I said in the presentation, a trust has a trustee. The trustee's social security number is attached to all the assets in the trust. So anybody going after the trustee can garner everything that's in the trust.
Gotcha.
yeah, in a trust structure, Gloria, most trust structures are has a managing partner or a managing entity. And I'm going to share something real quick. Our coffee shop has a high liability factor because everybody is, for lack of a better term, sue happy. So they come in and, you know, let's just use an erroneous situation where they say, you know, this happened at McDonald's a bunch of years back. Oh my gosh, I drank your coffee and I burned myself and I'm shattered for life. And I'm going to sue you and everybody else that I can think of. Our structure with the coffee shop is it's an LLC. It's a for-profit entity, but it's overseen. And this our attorney came up with this. I didn't even know you could do this. So the nonprofit, the unincorporated nonprofit, is our UNA, and the UNA is the standing partner like you would have in a trust. It's the same thing for an LLC, limited liability corporation. So the unincorporated nonprofit association is that partner, which means that there's no personal entity. When Mrs. Smith or Mrs. Jones, and I'm just using that for an example, not against anybody here whose last name is Smith or Jones, comes in and claims to be injured, they can only go by that entity. They can't go to myself, employees, or anybody else. So it's structured in that regard. So
Just like
something
it-
very, very unique. Anybody that's interested in learning more about that, our attorney, I'm sure, would be happy to share that information as well. So thank you, Gloria, for your questions. And Gloria, I responded to an email that you sent to Coffee and Crypto with Big Daddy at gmail.com. So very happy to speak to you when you're ready. Next up, Dennis, where you? Guess who? Miss Cecilia has her hand up. Go ahead, Cecilia.
Hey,
Yeah.
oh my goodness. Wow. I was so patient. Listen, I had a question about terms inside of a UNA because, we do have some reckless children, grandchildren, or other things. Is there a way to set stipulations inside of a UNA or requirements that must be met in order for certain responsibilities to be allocated to an individual, similar to the structuring of a trust?
Well, you would have to have a private agreement for something like that. The only thing in the UNA is we set the secretary as the primary executive officer. They control everything that goes on with that. So they could say, okay, I've got ABC. Now, if you want to, you could say, I'm going to set up a UNA for my son, and I'm going to put so much dollars in it so he can go to college. Okay. And so he's got his own debit card, and every month you put the money into his debit card and he now can go spend that. That's going to be even more powerful with VFS, because with VFS, you can specify what exactly the funds can be spent on. In other words, you can say it's only going to be spent in the school, or it's only going to be spent on food. They can't go anywhere else. They can't go to the nightclubs or anywhere and use the card. Okay, they can only use it where you specify that it can be used.
Wow, that's deep. Okay, so I'm gonna go. Yeah, it reminds me of the central digital currency that the government is trying to impose. There was some questions in the chat. I just think that one of them or two of them might have been answered. Yeah, about the UNA and the trust. Jocelyn asked, there was a mention of placing a UNA in a trust. I believe it was vice versa. You can donate the trust to the UNA.
Correct. Absolutely correct. Right.
Okay. Marina mentioned is a UNA to protect taxes, not liability in the event of an accident. I think it was basically answered by the question that the other lady had, and that it protects the reciprocant, the person who had the accident, from getting their stuff taken because it doesn't belong to them anymore. It belongs to the UNA. So if they go after that individual, they can only take what the individual has in the traditional world. Is that correct?
Correct. Absolutely
Okay.
correct.
And then she also asked, would it be good to spread out funds to more than one bank? Well, I want to answer that and you can answer that. My personal thing is we should not be putting our money in banks if we could avoid it, because banks do nothing but use our money. So why put it in more banks than one? I mean, unless you're worried about what they cover up to insurance-wise, then in that event, it would be better.
Again, VFS is going to be the answer for that. Okay.
And then
a lot of
Christine,
people waiting for VFS.
Yeah.
VFS.
Christy Hunt mentioned the private wallet going to a UNA, and then Dennis said that he suggested a new wallet just be created, and then we put the stuff in there. And then our guest Aknit mentioned, he said, "Why would we do that if a crypto wallet is anonymous until you spend it, unless it's coming? So why would you need to do that?" Okay, the reason behind that, and I'm gonna answer this, and Dennis, you could tell me if I'm right or wrong, is when the UNA is set up, it's attached to a bank account. When you do want to withdraw from crypto, if you don't have a crypto to crypto card that converts your funds, you will at one point or another have to withdraw, and it becomes profit. So if you are in a UNA and you are the secretary, even though it's really your wallet, but it's the UNA's wallet, it's going to the UNA's account, which is non-taxable because they're a non-profit association. Okay.
Correct.
That
Correct.
would be the reason behind that. And that leads me to this. I used my Miracle Cash crypto card and it worked successfully. So anybody who has it, please load it and use it. I was excited about that.
Miracle Cash card, you can load it with dollars and use it, right?
You can load it with crypto and use it, and you don't have to convert it to US dollars. That is so awesome. And it has the reader. Yeah.
I have a quick question here, and then we'll jump over. Is that did we cover all the questions in the chat, Cecilia?
Those were the questions. And there was a couple of comments about the UK throwing a case out. Tyrone said, "You the man, Michael." There was another question in the chat by Marina, and I answered it, and maybe I could be wrong, but I'm gonna ask you again, Dennis, because you know. She asked, "Do they ask how many donations you will make?" She saw a video at UNA's where it said that the question was asked, "How will we know the answer?" I answered this, and Michael is shaking his head, so I'm probably right. You are required to donate, but it does not indicate how many times per year. So your answer could be, at least once, but that will be determined by the owner of the association. Because guess what? You're just the secretary, you're not the owner.
And being a 501c3 holder, or putting together a 501c3 for Human Rescue Society, those questions do come up in a traditional nonprofit, like a 501c3 or a 508, like some churches and religious structures are under. Those questions do come up. That's a standardized question for those nonprofit organizations.
And even on the UNA, they ask you, "Are you going to get donations?" It says, "Yeah, people are going to donate to me." Okay, but I don't know how many.
Right.
That was everything in the
That's
chat.
everything in the chat. And then there's a new message popped up. Yep, thanks. Yep. Oh, somebody asked another question. Hold on. It's hard for me because I'm scrolling and
Yeah, if we miss a question in the chat, you can always send us an email and we'll make sure to get that question answered too.
Rick Russell asked if he forms a UNA on December 31st, does that relieve him from taxes for the whole year? No, because all your property has not been transferred to the UNA.
Can't buy
Rick.
Can't buy insurance after the accident. Okay.
We don't encourage anybody to use a UNA for other purposes besides what it's intended for. So everything that we're sharing here is what it's intended for and what the benefits are. But we definitely do not condone using a UNA.
Not for evasion, but for avoidance. Okay.
Tyrone has his hand up and he put a text in the chat.
Okay, Tyrone, you come.
Tyrone, thank you for being patient, buddy.
You know what? I was about to give up on you guys, but I appreciate that. No, thanks, Dennis and Cecilia. My question is for a regular W-2 employee as myself, how would a UNA benefit, or is it just for folks who have money already? I guess that's it.
Well, the W-2 employees that I am dealing with, you can donate up to 60% of your adjusted gross income. So
say that again, Dennis, say that again. Adjusted gross income. That's important.
That's what you need to understand. So let's just say you made $100,000 this year. but you had all your deductions came out to $80,000. You got $20,000 that is your adjusted gross income. You can now take 60% of that and put $12,000 as a donation into the association.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Hey,
So that,
you know what Trump announced yesterday, that he says if I come in, all interest on automobiles will be deducted,
that's nice.
income tax deductible.
And it used to be that way. They took it away.
I know.
Say that again.
All interest on automobiles will be tax deductible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's got, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on overseas people that are being double taxed, and no tax on interest in automobiles. It's going to be, that auto industry is going to explode with that. Because
These are all
to
proposals,
buy
Dennis?
automobiles.
These are all proposals that you mentioned, correct?
Yeah, right.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Dennis. I appreciate that.
You
I'll
got
be in
that.
touch.
Okay.
Thank you, Tyrone. Thank you for joining us today, buddy. It's good to see you.
Thanks.
got
You
it.
too, my
Yeah.
man. I love that story that you flew down to Florida to help out. That's
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
all.
was
that
she was
was
being hammered. Dennis is my witness. She was being hammered over and over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the times. I mean, she's an old lady. She's got brain issues. Okay, and so the people just thought that she was trying to scam them. Okay,
Yeah.
and the way she walked in and said, "I want to do this," and then at one bank they said, "Oh, what's this guy doing? He's got elder abuse. He's going to be in charge of your association, and he's going to take your money." And they refused. I said, "Excuse me, did you read my resignation, notarized resignation?" And they refused to open the account because they thought I was doing elder abuse.
Wow.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So what
You're the
can I
man,
say?
Mike.
Thank you, Tyrone. I appreciate you, brother. Hey,
Thank you, guys.
Mr. Randy is up next. Dennis, he's had his hand up for a while. Randy, did you want to unmute, buddy, and share what you have for Dennis? And then we have Suzette Davis and Miss Adams has got her hand up again too. Go ahead, Randy.
Yeah, thanks. You can hear me all right?
Right,
Yes,
right.
sir.
Okay. I put a question in the chat. I'm not sure if it was answered. I had to step away. I just asked, why is it necessary to have multiple UNAs?
Mm-hmm.
And did you get the answer from everything that Randy?
Oh, you talked about it? Well, then I'll watch it in
Well,
the.
It was, he
the
said,
recording.
now imagine everything you own is under your social security number. That means everything would be under you. But what if everything else you put into a UNA couldn't be attached to you? Then that's the reason why. Because
Yeah,
if
so I think the best way to answer that, and Cecilia, thank you so much for being diligent. She takes notes, and oh boy,
she's right.
Randy, it would be like if you had all of your eggs in one basket and you drop the basket, you're going to lose all those eggs.
Mhm.
Having multiple baskets and separating those eggs out, if there's a potential for someone to come after your eggs, they can only come after what what it pertains to. So to boil that down, it's always best to separate your assets depending on the amount of assets that you need to protect.
There you
It's
go.
like the guy I talked about,
And if I remember,
the guy I talked about that had 14 Lamborghinis. He wanted to put them all into one. And I said, what happens if you get into an accident with one? They're going to
Right.
attach 14 of them. Marina says boil the eggs so they don't.
I guess I still don't understand. I'll listen to the recording later.
What
when
is it?
comes
What
up.
is it that you don't understand, Randy? I could try to answer it maybe a
Well,
little better.
if you put 14 Lamborghinis in one UNA and you're in an accident, how can they come after you, or do they come after the UNA? What exactly are they
They can
doing?
They can only go after the UNA, but they can go after those 13 other Lamborghinis. The value of that.
Okay, so so the UNA is, I didn't realize they were still liable.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, anybody can,
So,
you know.
but I remember I remember you mentioning the UNA is a few $1,000s. So if I have 10, 15 UNAs, it's a big investment.
It is.
It would be a bigger loss, Randy, if you had assets that were in the millions and you didn't separate them.
Oh yeah, I'm not in that kind of cat. You got to knock a couple of zeros off of there for me.
Right.
All right.
Right. So you
Thank
may
you
not
much.
be in a personal position to need to have that many UNAs. You may be able to get away with just having one UNA, but it's all based on personal wealth and personal assets.
You remember
Yeah,
the story I told you about the couple that had 20 homes and 3 children, how they separated the homes out to the 3 children and protected.
Yeah. So Randy, you could if you wanted to, you could set up a time when you and Dennis could talk and he'll share his personal um suggestions in regards to your personal financial situation.
Yep. Okay.
That'd be great. Thanks very much.
You're welcome, buddy. Thanks for coming today to the
Randy.
call. We appreciate you.
We got 2 more.
Yeah. Miss Suzette Davis. She's been so patient. Unmute.
Hi guys, how are you doing? I haven't been on in a while. You know what? I have another meeting that clashes on Saturdays, so I deliberately didn't go on the other one because I wanted to listen today.
Well,
So
we're glad that you're here, Miss Davis. Thanks
yeah,
for
I'm
coming.
happy that I came on. So I just want to thank you guys for that. I'm a little bit confused still about the difference with the trust and the UNA just because they can come off either one anyway. I'll let you answer afterwards. And I just wanted to find out. I'm in New York. Is it easier in some states than some? Because I know in New York, everything is difficult in New York. Are there some states that are more receptive with the UNA?
It's not the states. It's the banker. The
It's the
banker.
banker
Not the
itself.
bank.
Doesn't matter where.
Not even
Okay.
the bank. It's the banker. If he doesn't know what this is, a lot of them have said, whoa, this looks, you know, whenever they've had an issue, it's been, oh, this looks like phony documentation. Okay. I can't find it online. The document states on there, you cannot find this online. You need to go call the Secretary of State and ask them to verify that the document is registered with them. You cannot go online and find it. So that's what a lot of the banks will tell you. Okay, this is a private entity.
Okay, all right, that's important. All right, so another thing is
the
that
question you asked, so that the question you asked was, what's the difference between the trust and the UNA? Okay, the UNA, the trust uses your social security number if you're the trustee, right? Your
right,
social
right.
security
But
number
you're
is-
still giving them your social security number with the UNA, but you're saying it separates it.
It's separated. There's a brick wall between you and the UNA. The UNA has its own tax ID number.
I remember what you said. When it's a social security, they can see everything. But even though they're taking the social security, then it's only going to be with that one entity that you set up. Okay, I remember now. I'm listening.
Yeah, and they
I was a
use
little bit
that for
confused at the end.
verification purposes.
Verify who you are.
They're not
right?
using it to align you with the UNA. They just want to make sure that you're not
To verify
for
you.
lack for
Okay.
any other term than if you're a terrorist and you're setting up a shell account to fund terrorist acts. So that's the main
Right.
reason.
And also just like bylaws where you can put in your rules and so forth, you can put in rules and guidelines, whatever you want to put in there, correct?
Correct. You're in charge. So you can
Right,
make up as you go. Here's the beauty of
Okay.
it. Okay. I have not kept a receipt or written anything down for 35 years. What do you think that's?
So while I'm on the call, I'm listening because I'm a real estate agent in New York too. So I'm texting my broker because we have a sellers seminar coming up in 2 weeks. And I'm like, maybe we need to ask the attorney who's going to come on to speak about UNA. But he was saying it's not going to be appropriate in this instance because we're dealing with sellers who want to sell. But I'm saying, okay, in my buyers, then definitely when I'm talking to buyers, this is something that's going to be good for them. So I was like, this is really good information. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
You-
that attorney may not even know what this particular entity is because a lot of them don't. He may, or he or she may, but
Let
not
me
too
give
many
you,
of them know.
yeah, let me give you an example of what happened in Florida. My friend, there was a house up for sale. He wanted to buy it. So he went over, negotiated with the seller to owner carry back the loan so that the owner would get the payments, okay? So the owner agreed to that. He says, now, before we do this deal, I want to put it into a UNA, and then I'll buy the UNA from you. Okay, and so when they went to Fidelity title to get it done, to move it into the UNA, Fidelity attorney called him up and said, look, I've been doing title for 38 years. I never heard of this animal. I've got to send it to corporate. So he sends it to corporate. A week later, he gets a call saying everything is kosher, move forward. So they put it in the UNA and transferred it over to him. He's now the happy owner, and the owner who sold it to him gets his payments every month, and everything is fine.
Awesome. Awesome. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Here's
Thank
the
you,
thing
Big Daddy, for having this platform, and Cecilia for being so awesome.
Thank you.
Here's something that everybody needs to understand. Let's just say you did buy a house for $400,000. It's 5 years ago. It's now $600,000. You have $200,000 in equity, and you want to sell that home. Where's that $200,000 in equity going? Is it going in your pocket or in the association's pocket? It goes in the association's pocket. So do you have any capital gains? Zero.
Oh, I never thought about the capital gains. Oh, that is so good.
Now you know, okay? You got zero capital gains. The money went into the association as reserves to be used by that association at a future date for whatever it wants. So now it can go out. You don't have to do a 1031 exchange or anything like that. You can go out and buy another property underneath that.
That is such great news. I thank you. I'm so happy I came on today. Thank you so much. That's
Now
really
listen,
good. That's
now
1031.
listen, if the UNA, if you sell, if you as the overseer and you sell a hard asset like a piece of real estate, and there is no capital gain reporting, don't go to Vegas and see Dennis and throw 200 down on the roulette table, because that's not going to go over well for your UNA. So okay.
Thank you, Dennis.
I
Okay, I'm waiting for it.
I just watched a guy put $9,600 on blackjack, and he won by 1 point.
Wow.
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 I want to ask one quick question to Cecilia, because I'm not in Miracle, but you mentioned the Miracle Cash crypto card. I have to be in the Miracle to get the card.
No, you don't. It's a website. You can apply for the card.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you.
And
Yeah,
She
that's
can
such great
guide you
information.
to Suzette if you need help with that.
Yeah, the owner of Miracle Cash, Micah, has got several associations from me. In fact, his Boogie, what's it?
Boogie
Boogie
Gopher.
Gopher.
Boogie Gopher is one I did for him.
Wow.
Okay, so you need to know that this thing. Now, here's a key thing that everybody needs to know. Anybody who has an association from me only that comes into VFS, you'll get an entire first year of free service from VFS. No monthly fees, no charges for anything. All your wire transfers and everything are free, as long as you have an association from me.
Free for 5 years, you said?
Are you pushing it? Are you pushing it?
Negotiate. All right,
We-
thank you. I
And,
really
and people
appreciate it.
who don't know VFS, you can go to Virgin. Can you type that in, Cecilia? VirginFinancialService.com. And you can
Okay.
see what Virgin Financial Service is all about.
There you go.
Right, gracias.
Miss
Okay, and here's a key thing. In Virgin Financial Service, since your funds, although it shows whatever bank you're with, Bank of America, Chase Bank, or Wells Fargo, etc., it'll show I got $1 million sitting in Wells Fargo, but it's not sitting in Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo account shows that I have my money there. They cannot touch the money to do fractional bank lending. The money is there. It's in a trust account with us. Every transaction you do is not done by you. In other words, if you went out and bought a car, boat, jewelry, whatever, you didn't do it. The trust did the transaction. A ledger is kept from day one, and that ledger is accounted to the 12th decimal point, which means it cannot be disputed. Okay? So you need no accountant, you need no bookkeeper, you need no enrolled agent or CPA to do your taxes. At the end of the year, you push one button and all your accounting for the entire year is done for you. And if you need to go file taxes, you go file it. If you have an association, you do nothing with it, you just help it.
Love this.
Miss Adams has her hand up for you, Dennis. So can you unmute Miss Adams?
Yeah. Winifred?
There
Yep.
we go. Okay, thank
There we
you.
go.
Dennis, you mentioned early on in this that you had 2 different bank accounts for one UA.
Correct.
Is that something that we can do? Like I could go to a separate one now and also set up a different one in a different bank if I wanted to?
Absolutely. And another thing that I can advise people who got a sizable amount of money coming in on a monthly basis is to have an income and expense account. So you have an income account for ABC and an expense account for ABC. What happens now is you have your debit card for ABC. The reason I tell you to do this, okay, is because if you're using the debit card and you know what happens for how many times I've had to replace my debit card because some scam happened on my card, okay? What happened to me on the 30th of August? On the 30th of August, I got a fraud alert that somebody had bought $51.56 worth of hamburgers in Minnesota. And I'm sitting here in Las Vegas, right? So I said, that's not me. I said, okay, we're going to cancel your card. We're sending you a new card. On the 1st of the next month, September, I look at my bank account and there's 3 more charges on that same card. And then there's a new 4-digit with another charge. So I called up the bank and said, you guys canceled my card yesterday. How can there be 3 more charges? And they go, well, we'll get that taken off. You know, I don't know how that happened. So I said, then what's this other account with 4 numbers? Oh, that's your new card. I said, I haven't even got it yet. You guys are mailing it out yesterday. I haven't even got it yet and somebody's already using it.
Wow.
Okay, can you believe that? That did happen to me. Now, your accounts with Virgin Financial Service have unlimited insurance. They're not limited to 250,000. They're unlimited. Because they're going into a trust account. They're not going into a bank account.
Can I ask one more question before I go off? Thank you, Dennis. Michael, I just wanted to ask if you could clarify why you have a 501c3 at all. Like, what's the function of that versus the UA? Like, why would you have both if you can structure under the UA?
Actually, that's a very, very, very good question. And the reason I say that is because I intentionally was going to set up Human Rescue Society as an unincorporated nonprofit association. The reason that we didn't do that, and my attorney advised not to, because I didn't want to have that federal crunch on the nonprofit. But unfortunately, in some situations, based on what you're utilizing that organization for, there's good points and bad points. So the reason that we set Human Rescue Society up as a 501c3 is so that we can be more in the public light, and also for grant perspectives in that space from the government or other organizations. So we set it up in that way for those reasons specifically. In a nonprofit, it's more of an anonymous entity, meaning that your assets are protected, you're covered with probate, you have the tax benefits, but it's more on a unknown perspective, so to speak. It's a quiet perspective.
The UNA.
We were looking to be out there in the forefront with Human Rescue Society for donations and grants and thus forth.
See, the UNA's name, you cannot find online. You can't do any research on it. So
Right.
you can't go to the Secretary of State and say, what about ABC UNA? You can't find anything, okay? But you can find the 501c. And so now you know that they're a legitimate organization that you want to work with, right? It's not that the UNA is not legitimate. We are legitimate 100%, but we're private, okay? Now, the 501c, let's just say that they got enough money that they want to buy their own building. They can put that into a UNA and rent it.
Great. Yeah, thank you.
Does
That's
does
great.
that help, Ms. Adams?
Yeah.
in regards?
Thank you so much. That's a great explanation of the utility.
Yeah, because the 501c can put their assets into UNAs and still have write-offs and everything that they need to have. I've got people right now. I've got a lady in Hawaii. She's just got another brand new UNA from me. She had 7 because she does home care, and she has over 200 employees that she farms out to home care in Hawaii. Okay, so she makes $3 to $5 million a year and so what she does is put the building in a UNA. She puts the vehicle in a UNA. She puts the equipment in there, the beds and the computers, etc., in a UNA. So that's how she is able to write them all out. Okay, the UNA can receive donations as well, but the 501c is more public. So people can say, oh yeah, Human Rescue, great, I'm going to donate to that. I just got, and I can show you this, a letter where we just donated $50,000 from a UNA to a charity.
Tim Bennyfield in the chat, Dennis asked, can they receive donations equally and provide write-offs? I think
Yeah,
you pretty much just
absolutely.
answered that.
Yes,
Yep.
you can do that. Yes, Tim. If you need, do you need a deposit to open a unit? Yeah, you need, generally it's, I don't know, generally it's like $100, you know.
Yeah, PNC, which doesn't do nonprofit accounts anymore, unfortunately. I was fortunate to be able to set accounts up for both of my UNAs. They required a 500 minimum. So every banking facility is going to have a different dollar amount.
Back on the
Ron's driving, Dennis, and I always shiver when I see he raises his hand while he's driving. Ron, did you, and his hand went down. Did your question get answered, Ronald? Ronald Osteen?
Ron?
He's driving right now. I'm not going to ask him to unmute because he's driving a big rig down the highway there, you can see, so. Evelyn Fentress has her hand up again. Evelyn, did you have another question, dear?
Evelyn?
She might need to be unmuted. Cecilia, can you, there we
Okay,
go.
I got it. My question is, you said that you could put the UNA in Virgin Financial Services. and the banks cannot fractionalize the money. Isn't
Yes.
that gonna be hard, putting the UNA into the bank? Will I have a hard time because they can't touch that money? Will I
No,
have a
you
hard
don't have
time?
any, let me ask you this. Do you have a Venmo, a Cash App, or a PayPal account?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what did you have to do? You simply hooked up your bank to those, right?
Yes,
Okay, so you could work with your bank, but the bank still controlled everything, correct?
right.
Okay, with Virgin Financial, the moment you hook your bank up to Virgin Financial, we notify the bank that we are now the custodian of that account. They cannot touch your money to do anything. It's now in a trust.
Okay. They're not gonna get mad and wanna, cause they can't make any money off of me, cause
They,
it's hooked up
there's
like,
nothing they can do. Nothing.
okay.
Hey, you can't make everybody happy, Evelyn. If they get mad, that's on them. The reason that they're getting mad is because they operated the way they did for the last 100 or plus, how many hundreds of
And your
years?
money is with us anyway,
They're
and even if
haters.
they was to shut down and walk away tomorrow, every bank in the world can shut down tomorrow. We are still going to be operational.
Okay. The final question is, I heard on your Zoom that Trump knows about this, so Trump is gonna be supporting it.
Absolutely, he's the one who authorized this. In fact, if you want to go to quantum.gov, quantum.gov, you will see the white paper on quantum banking system. And Mitch was the one, our CEO, our architect of this entire program, was the one who wrote that. And if you go all the way to the bottom, you'll see all the government entities that are already hooked up to our quantum financial system.
Okay. That was it. Thank you.
Okay.
Mhm.
You're welcome, dear. Ron's got his hand back up for you, Dennis. Ron, please be
Hey, Ron,
careful.
how are you?
You just need to hit the mute
Ron.
button. There you go.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good afternoon.
I had a question, Dennis. Okay, I got Chase Bank, right? And I got my, direct deposits every week, from my paychecks there. If I got in with Virgin Financial System, is there a way I can just have my checks directly deposited into Virgin Financial?
Everything that you normally do with a bank, like taking a picture and depositing, you can do with Virgin Financial.
Okay. And when is this you said it's gonna be launched hopefully by Tuesday, so we can sign up?
That's the ISO. The ISO program will be launched on Tuesday, and as soon as that gets launched, then we will be bringing in all the other 13 white labels, the people that have paid the $558,000 to be part of us. They will be coming up, and that'll then open up the floodgates for everybody to open their accounts with us.
Okay. But as far as, Virgin Financial System, even before ISOL came along, you were still able to get in the bank Virgin Financial System, right?
Right, but there's been a lot of pushback on us opening up, because for us to open up, we have to go through the normal banking challenge to open up. And every time they found out what we were going to do, they put roadblocks in our way.
Yeah.
Because they know what's going to happen to them. There's going to be a bloodbath, as Trump said. There's going to be a bloodbath in the banking industry when
they're running scared right now. They're panicking because they're
nobody's going to go out and kill anybody, but
yeah, well, they're getting ready to set up, what's that token? They're getting ready to tokenize and digitalize the whole
CBDC.
system. Yeah, globally. So it's pretty scary, but yeah, it's like I want to get in with Virgin Financial System now, like ASAP.
Yep, and
we'll get you there, Ron.
More than anybody, I want to have my account opened up. Okay, so everybody will be privy to that, and like I said, everybody who has an association from me will have their first year of service absolutely free.
Yeah, gotcha. Now, as far as my business goes, I mean, I don't have any assets. I don't even have a home right now. I'm just, driving this truck, leasing this truck. I got my LLC, I got my EIN number and all that, but it's like, I mean, my income's not all that great. I mean, I'm ranking in a couple grand a week, but I mean, is it really feasible? I mean, feasible, because it's not like I have millions and millions of dollars. I mean, is it going to be worth it for me to?
Well, right now you have an LLC, right?
Yeah.
And you have to pay tax on your income, right?
Yep.
So why don't you operate as an unincorporated nonprofit? And that way
Yeah.
you zero taxable.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
So
I need to
how much do you pay a year right now in taxes? You don't have to mention exactly how much, but
Yeah, well, I usually, my numbers usually wash, so I don't have to pay anything with
oh, well, good.
with all my expenses. So
Very good. Very good. I mean, yeah, a lot of people don't understand these things. I ask people
Yeah.
one question: how many times does $1 get taxed? Understand this: every time you use that $1 that you earn, you pay tax on it. You went and bought something for $1, that person has to pay tax on it.
It's a perpetual tax machine.
It's a
yeah, I got
perpetual
I got lots of expenses out here, so
yeah, the $1 gets taxed to infinity.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
So why don't you stop it right at your door?
yeah. Well, can you teach me how to set it up as an unincorporated? I mean, am I able to do that with leasing this truck? Because I'm leasing it. My lease payment's $12.50 a week. I mean, so that's a huge expense right there.
$12.50 a week, $1,250 a week for your truck. That's $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
You guys can talk about that probably
later.
We can
Yeah.
talk, yeah, we
better
can talk about it.
strategy for that.
You call me and
Okay.
I'll show you how to
Okay.
do it.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay,
Cecilia,
looks like
Dennis, we made it through all the hands up. Cecilia,
Amazing.
do we have any more
almost 3 hours.
do we have any more questions in the chat, Cecilia, that we might have not hit?
Yes, absolutely. There was a question by our guest, Aknit. He asked, or she asked, I don't know. I'm sorry. They asked, will a UNA, and I'm trying to scroll to it because everything is so tiny right here. Will a UNA protect me from clawbacks when court cases come around? These are small charges. Hold on. Some stuff is popping up. Charges that when stuff goes wrong in investment, they take back money. You know how when we're investing in certain programs, if we had profit, if there's clawbacks or if a program or a platform or something was shut down, they may take back funds.
Well, if the again, let's just say that what happened to a lot of people was that, what was that one program where people were bidding on stuff and buying, and then they got shut down and they're going after them big time on every one of those people. If they sue the company that you're messing with, yes, they can go after that's in that one entity. Yes.
I was just going to say this is where multiple UNAs would come into play.
Correct.
Yeah, that's true. Then there was another question. Let me see. I gotta get through them.
Oh, Miss Adams said in the chat that Chase gave no minimum to open her Chase account.
Really? Okay, because Marina said it was $250 minimum. That was 3 years ago.
Yeah, always best to check just to make sure, but I think Miss Adams Dennis mentioned that she just set it up, so
I think that was it. Like somebody the Virgin
Tim
Financial
Benningfield said his was 100. I don't know
Wow.
which bank Tim used, but his was just 100. That's pretty good.
Right, right. 100, some banks even only took $25, you know, and so it just depends on the bank and the banker.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it's difficult. The other question in the chat from a party was if Dennis and his attorney could be on the call to inform us. That's expensive, and attorneys don't generally take Zoom calls. And again, because this could be deemed as financial advice or other, and we don't do that here. We just share information, and we encourage everyone to do your own due diligence about everything that you hear here, because we don't give financial advice. An attorney coming on, that would be a paid event, and then that would in result make this not a free forum. We are
Yeah.
a free entity.
Yeah, and then that would be termed as legal advice.
Mhm.
I don't think we would be able to find. I know our attorney won't do it, especially to a multiple platform. Now, if you want to consult an attorney one-on-one, most of them, or although I've been hearing that they kind of steered away from that, the first consultation is usually free, but you can consult an attorney personally, reach out to an attorney and get advice.
And then again, anybody who has information or requests for more information or ideas about new calls, or you want your name added to the email list and the Telegram list, you fill out the Piccadilly Circle link, and there's a bottom form where you could add your additional information that you're interested in finding out about or want to share. That's it.
Yeah, definitely click on that link and put your information in there. That will automate and put you right onto our contact list. And you can be privy to these calls. Emails go out once a week on Fridays when I don't make a boo-boo. But Piccadilly Circle, as Cecilia just mentioned, here's the documentation. This is how Dennis sends these out to you. It's in a hard binder, and all of the documentation is in here. And he also is there for you. I've had Dennis on the phone with people when they were at the bank setting up their account and questions arose. Dennis is a very busy gentleman, but he tries to swing his schedule for someone, especially if you're going to be going down to that bank and there is a possibility of a question arising. Dennis, he did it multiple times with people for me. So.
Usually what I'd like to do is I just came across a 4-minute video that really touched me. Okay. Can I show this to you guys?
Yeah, let me.
I guess if everybody would like to see that, we do have the video to finish up. You know what, Dennis, that video, can you send me the link and we'll put it into the Telegram group?
Send you a link. I'll send you a link on it. Okay.
Is that okay with you, Dennis?
Yeah, sure, no problem. I just saw it on about 3 days ago. I saw it on X, and it touched me really, because we don't know what other people are going through. Okay, so you need to watch this video, and it really touches you when you don't know what other people, the trials and tribulations they have to go through. This 4-minute explains it all.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll pop that. Send it to me, Dennis, and I'll pop it into the Telegram group right away.
Do you want to watch it now, or do you want to just send it to you?
Why don't you play his video?
Right.
You want to do that? Cecilia, how about if we close the call today with Dennis's video?
Yeah, I was just texting you that. Like, yeah, let's do that.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Kathy said it's okay.
Okay.
All right.
Kathy, thank you for your permission.
He's
Kathy.
the boss. The real boss.
She's being strategic. She has another good video up in queue, and we'll have that for.
You can finish
26.
after this one, right? You can do it after this one, okay? But this will touch your heart, okay?
Just expand that so it's
Yeah,
big.
I will. Okay, watch this.
Make sure you adjust your audio, otherwise we won't hear
Yeah, we
anything.
can't hear anything. So
This is what I was in fear of. We don't hear anything.
yeah, you gotta optimize the video for optimize the sound for video.
Okay, let me. The thing is that this. Oh, what happened? Did I lose everybody?
No,
Maybe he should send us the link.
Oh, wait a
yeah,
minute.
send a link in the chat to Michael directly and let him play it.
Yeah, put the link in the chat, Dennis, and I'll share screen and play it.
Right, because when I go here, when I say share, it does not give me the option for optimizing. Oh, okay, I see it right over here now. Okay, share sound, share optimize. Okay, we're ready. All right. So
Okay.
they have moved things around for me. That's why.
Now we have a gray bar through the middle. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Does it sound good?
Good.
Kto? Vanessa? Pse me Vanessa? Zire dorën. Kto? Shkon thot. Edhe mos e përsërit më, qetësi.
Hyr!
Prap me Vanessa. Shkon thot.
Hyr!
What do you think of that?
I think we should not judge what we don't know. We should
Correct.
not judge, period.
Correct.
Yeah, that's deep. Oh my God.
Now bring tears to your eyes when you know that we're don't know the trials and tribulations of somebody else, and we judge them.
Amen to that.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking. Just deep, yeah.
Thank you for that share, Dennis.
Mhm.
That you said same thing.
Mhm.
Tears to your eyes, just like Karen just said.
Yeah.
I think we did a good job today. Dennis, great presentation again. Remember, everyone, if you want to be part of our community, we're here every single Saturday at 10 a.m. And this is an open community where you can invite your friends, your family. I think I mentioned in the email that goes out on Friday, grab a stranger down the street. Just make sure you know who he is. That's all, he or she. So, and always grab a cup of coffee. I always do to be here and learn and get educated. And don't forget, the link is in the chat. Click on that link. If you were intrigued by today's presentation, we got a bunch of them coming up. We're going to go back to the basics in the crypto digital asset space and back to Crypto 101 here and start from the beginning and share information with our own For Real Seal and Mrs. Satoshi. So get on that contact list so that you have that notification. And get into our Telegram groups, because you can always catch up on anything that you may not have been here for in the Telegram group. So I want to thank everybody for being here. I know you guys could have been doing many, many different things on a Saturday morning, but you chose to come here. So I applaud all of you for your diligence and wanting to learn more. And Dennis, I want to thank you for another awesome presentation. Hey, when you go to that video library, you'll see a lot of stuff that Dennis has contributed to this call in multiple different ways. So, and don't forget, we'll be having one of our other frequent contributors, Steve Stratton, the tax strategist, will be here in November. We're working out the details of what day in November. So that's all I've got for today. Cecilia, any final words for you, young lady?
Just tell everybody to stay engaged and, be ready for all the changes that are coming, with crypto, with legislation, with the weather, the world, and, just support one another in prayer and just, stay visual. If you see something, say something. You know why? Because I'd rather stand for anything than to fall for everything. So, that's just it.
Yeah, there is power in prayer, like Cecilia mentioned. Our hearts go out to those people in North Carolina and Florida and the other states down in that area where they've been affected by these storms that have come through. So pray for those people, pray for them. So we're a community, everyone, and it wouldn't be fair to just click off without saying goodbye to each other, but it's just goodbye for now. We'll see you not next Saturday, but the Saturday after on the 26th. So with that, how about we all just say goodbye for now?
You can
Michael,
God
unmute.
bless
and say
you.
I sent
Happy
you the link.
birthday,
Great
everyone.
call.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
y'all.
you.
Bye,
Enjoy.
everybody.
bye. Bye, Kathy.
Have a blessed week.
Bye, Cecilia.
So
God bless
long.
you
God
all.
bless
Bless
you.
all.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thanks so
everyone.
much.
Great
Thank you, Dennis,
meeting.
Mike, and Cecilia.
Hey, Suzanne.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
taking
the
me
great
behind
video,
you.
Dennis.
Thank you. That video brought tears to my eyes watching
Me
it.
too. Thank God
Yeah.
I didn't put my mascara
You
on
should put
yet.
the video
Yes.
in the link. The
I
video should have
sent
been in the link.
I sent the link to Mike already. Okay, so Mike
Oh,
has
okay.
and he can put it on the
You can
web.
put it in a Telegram group. Oh my God, yeah.
Right.
Powerful message.
That
And
wraps up another one. So this
Francois.
we turned the recording off because this is what we call the after call. So you guys are free to say whatever you'd like that's not being recorded, but be respectful. What did you guys think of today's call? Anybody like to contribute or reference today's call?
Wow. This is great as usual. Dennis brings a whole different level of expertise to the table, and I'm sitting here just eating it all up. I'm just like waiting for stuff to fall into place so I could just prepare for the future. We're every day something else.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to rewatch this one. couple times.
Thank you guys so much. Happy birthday, everyone.
Hey,
Yeah,
thanks.
to the two
Yeah.
birthday recipients.
Yes, definitely.
Maria.
Yeah,
What did
that
everybody?
lady, that lady you brought on, the girl that's the singer.
Debbie.
Yeah, her story, her testimony, man, it brought tears to my eyes. Just like, wow, with her
Yeah.
husband and cancer.
She is one of
three
those
kids.
people that you don't, in today's world and society, she's a very rare person.
Breed.
because-
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. And I can't wait to see where we progress in regards to the music that she's putting together for Human Rescue Society. There's some
Yeah,
stuff
that's
on the
awesome.
drawing board, and she has been very, very busy. And what she reiterated, I asked a couple of times if she could jump on the call, and she was just so fortunate. Thank you, Dennis, for allowing her to take a couple of minutes and share her information as well.
Absolutely no problem.
Yeah.
We're all in it together.
Yep. Yep.
Where's mine?
Uh,
I don't even know mine.
I always mess up the pronunciation, but I do like Miss who's on here with us now. Is it Leone? Mother Teresa there on her picture. And it's a beautiful picture there. Anything
just
else,
to-
Cecilia? Before we say go ahead, Ron.
I was gonna say, just in regards to Virgin Financial, I thought you were always able to get into the Virgin Financial.
No, not yet. Not yet. We were getting ready to do that, but then we had roadblocks put in front of us. You will not believe. If I gave you the details of what's going on in the Virgin Islands right now, there's a lot of people being arrested. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Mitch has been deputized. He's now a gun-carrying, badge-toting person working with the commissioner over there.
Wow, that's pretty dangerous.
They've even nominated him to become the governor of the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Wow. So you haven't always been able to get in with the Virgin Financial System. I thought it was something that you always did, Dennis, but it's the UNA that you've always did, but it's tied to the Virgin Financial then, right?
Right. Virgin Financial has been a labor of love for the last 2.5 years of mine. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But no,
Got it,
awesome call.
got it.
Awesome call.
Got it. I'm bad with Telegram.
Say that, Suzette. I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry. I realized I was unmuted. I was saying I'm
Oh,
bad
okay.
with
I thought you had a
Telegram.
question about our Telegram.
No, I was saying I'm bad with Telegram.
Got it.
Dennis, there are a plethora of emails, so I'm sure we'll have a good list to send over for you to talk to people in regards.
Okay. Okay.
Dennis,
So if everybody's good to go, we will finish up the after call here. And remember, we'll be off next week for the 19th. I have a men's conference at church, but we'll be back on the 26th.
God bless you all.
God
Yes.
bless you guys too.
Yeah, Leon, that's beautiful.
What are you drinking there, Dennis? A little kombucha?
Wow.
It's VFS with not VFS, Immurogen with beetroot powder in it.
Ah, okay.
Hi. Yeah, gotta get me some of that stuff. I'm waiting.
Yeah,
Then I have the website still.
I know. I know.
Taking so much other stuff right now for stuff is like I can't, just yeah.
Hey, Dennis, I'm going to order that soursop tea.
Oh yeah.
Get some of that.
Husband for actually the family because we all need something.
Soursop good for you.
The CEO
From
of
today, actually.
yeah, the CEO of the company, her sister had was it type 5 lymphoma. 1 in a million people get it. And her husband was the top money on it. Well, I won't say was the top money, a top money earner in another nutrition company. And they tried everything on her. Nothing worked. She went through chemo. She went through radiation, lost all her hair. And about 5 months ago, they finally gave up and came over to her sister, who's the CEO of Immurogen, and said, "Can you help?" She said, "Yeah, it's going to be." Well, she says, "I can't help. I can't guarantee. I don't have a crystal ball, but I'll give you, I'll take care of you." And so what she did was she put her on a very, very heavy doses of the product. Like every 2 hours, she was taking 3 milliliters of Immurogen. Every 4 hours, she was taking 2 capsules of beta glucans. And 3 months later, she's 100% cancer free.
What's the product name?
Immurogen.
Immurogen, your immunity regenerated.
And here's even a better caveat
How
to
do you
this.
order that?
Here's a better caveat, and this will answer your question, Gloria. Anybody from the Coffee and Crypto with Big Daddy call that's interested in these products, your purchase, a portion of your purchase is contributed to the Human Rescue Society. Dennis and Maria have graciously allowed that to take place. So if you guys are interested in any of these products, just send us an email and we'll get you connected with Dennis and Maria, his wife.
And it used to be a network marketed program, and I told them you need to get rid of this network marketing bit because it's all a bunch of mumbo jumbo. And when you go into network marketing, I've been in the arena since 1961, started with Amway many, many, many years ago, and I've been in the top 40 of network marketers. I had 39,000 people in my prepaid legal program. And, so I've been the gamut. So I told them, you need to just go to a affiliate program where there's no cost to join, no monthly purchase required. And if you tell people because you like the product and they like the product, you make money. And that's what they did. So there's no cost to join, no monthly purchase required. If you like the product and you tell people they use it, you get paid.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, just remember everybody that if you're interested, send us an email. Cecilia did put a link to the company for research purposes. But if you're interested, let us know and we'll get you connected with Dennis. Just send an email to coffeeandcryptowithbigdaddy@gmail.com.
Yeah, Mike will give you a link and you can join up under Coffee and Crypto.
Yep, and Dennis has graciously said if anybody has any questions before doing that, he or Maria, who is kind of the initiate. Dennis can't take the credit for everything, right? Maria's the aficionado for Immurogen, so she'll be happy to answer your calls too.
Well, hopefully my iSaw donation.
I'm sorry.
Hopefully my iSaw donation will like prosper
yeah.
and I can get on this product, Dennis.
Yeah, remember this, guys. Ron has already put in $1,000 for his iSaw donation, so he's on the road.
Praise Jesus.
He's on the road, literally and figuratively, both.
Yeah.
Suzette, I saw you unmuted. Did you have a question, dear Miss Davis?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Dennis if he was familiar with another company called Love Biome.
Love Biome? No, I don't. I'm not.
No? Okay. All right. So I wanted to see what if you know the difference, but I guess you don't know anyway. So okay,
Well,
that's fine.
if I know what it is, I've got several companies. I went to a pretty major thing over here. They had a huge group of people, and somebody is calling me. I had to cut that off. And I went there and they were talking about, oh, we've got 3 peptides and we've got this very miracle product, and we can put them on people who have leaky gut syndrome and get them off in 3 or 4 months and all of that. And I said, hey, listen, I had one lady who was had leaky gut syndrome for 30 years. She was skinny as a rail, and I put her on our product. In 1 month, she's completely back to normal.
It's a blessing.
Hey, gotta check it out. I forgot you had those products with Dennis. You have everything. Health and wealth.
Yeah, you're looking at me. I take 0 medications. My blood pressure, I can show you, is always under 120 over 60 or 70.
And how old are you today, Dennis?
81.
Awesome sauce. And you're not even wearing glasses. I'm wearing glasses. I want to stop wearing glasses. These are readers. These are not. I
Well-
can't see anything without them. I'm like, this is just so crazy.
Well, I had a little bit of, I'm with the veteran, I'm a veteran, so I go to a specialist outside the VA for my eyes being checked, and they found that I was getting some cataracts. They got rid of that, and I had some pressure with glaucoma. They put a stent in there, and I'm fine now.
So that's through a veteran program, not with product.
No.
Oh.
But that does help. A lot of people have come back and said, my eyesight has improved, my everything improves, because remember this, Immuregen is the only product in the world that has all of the nucleotides that you need. There are 5 nucleotides. 4 are needed to repair your DNA. And you know what I should do is do a complete presentation on Immuregen for you guys one of these days. So if you schedule that presentation, Mike, we can do that. A complete presentation on DNA repair.
I wonder if
it is absolutely something that, we don't think about our body working. Do you realize you have 100,000 miles and veins and capillaries in your body? It takes 60 seconds for one blood molecule to travel through your whole body, and every so many years it has to be replaced. All of these things I will bring out to you and show you that you take it for granted. We get in the car and we turn the key. As long as the engine starts, we drive off. But guess what? The car has a check engine light. It tells you something is wrong. Go in and plug it in, and they tell you, oh, you got a misfire, or something's not working, or even your tires are low on air. That the car tells you that. What happens to our body? We don't have a check engine light. We have aches and pains that come up. We go to the doctor and we say, Doc, the side of my body is hurting over here. And he says, oh, that's your appendix. And here's some drugs to mask a symptom. They don't address the issue, the problem. They mask the symptom. They don't address the issue. What's the issue? Your organs are deteriorating. You realize how many times your DNA is bombarded on a daily basis. First thing I'm going to ask you is, Ron, you're traveling down the road there. Do you see how many tires and brakes have to be replaced every year? Where is all the dust from the tires and the brakes? Is it sitting on the side of the road? No, it's in the air. We're breathing it. Every iota of a particle is not good for your body. And the moment you breathe it, it's breaking your DNA. It's breaking your DNA. Okay? And you need you need to replace it. It's like this. Okay? If your light bulb in your house goes out, what do? You got to remain in the dark unless you've got a replacement. The same thing happens to your DNA. The moment it gets destroyed, it needs to be replaced. Do you understand that the amount of DNA in your body, if you took it, there's a 6-foot strand of DNA in every cell in your body, and you got like 60 trillion cells in your body. If you took every one of those cells, the strands, and put it end to end, it'll go to the moon and back 300 times. That's how much DNA you have in your body. And if you don't keep it repaired, That's when you start catching all the issues. I take nothing, no medications, period.
No, that's a blessing. I need to get
Awesome.
some of that. I keep talking about it. I just need to do it.
Yeah, you can't talk about it if you don't do it. You know, I always say this, okay? You guys heard the old saying, right? If you can take the horse to the water, you can't make them drink.
Yeah.
My saying is, you can take the hordes, and you know what hordes are, right? The groups of people. You can take the hordes to the data, but you can't make them think.
Wow.
Dennis, can you do me a favor, buddy? Can you text me that link? I got your email, but the link is kind of split in half, so.
Oh, it didn't come out?
I'm able to click on it, but I don't know when I go to share it if it's going to be doable. So if you could just, for backup, just text it to me.
I will. So, like I said, you can take the hordes to the data, but you can't make them think.
That's true.
Yeah, Ron, your
white
check
blood
engine
cell-
might be on and you just don't see it yet.
Oh. Yeah, I better go get some of that oil. Putting it in.
We had a lot of new people here today too, Cecilia. Hopefully they will join
Sign
us.
up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In fact, I
Sign-
see Eugene. I don't remember Eugene before. Eugene's here. He just, well, actually he was here. He just
He
left.
was here. He just left
Oh.
because the call is over. They don't understand what the after call is.
And we
The-
haven't done this in a while because of being busy. So
Amazing things. I've been listening to a herbalist talk a lot about health and what we're going through physically and stuff, and watch some very deep blood work take
Yeah.
place where the cells are actually checking for irregularities, invading other cells, eating dead cells, moving stuff out the way, pushing your blood is working, doing crazy stuff. And it's just like,
Right.
and little parasites that come out of your white blood cells that swim off and they do other stuff in your systems. And when you think about parasites in your body, not all are from a foreign entity, they're actually in your blood and they're designed to do certain things. It's just crazy. It's like our body is just like he said, a miracle.
Who made this? Who made this?
God
God made it, right?
nothing like it anywhere. It's electric.
No other machine in the world that can compete with the human body.
Nothing.
although they think so with AI and robotics and
Yeah. So
hey, who would have thought you could come to a crypto digital asset call and hear all about health and wellness and
Yeah, I put some just little tidbits in the chat. It's just little stuff that I captured.
I'm
from-
going to send you the link also on Steve Jobs. I don't know whether you watched that Steve Jobs video. Where he
I've watched a bunch of them, but
this one has to do specifically about when he was on his deathbed.
okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, where he said, all the money in the world doesn't keep me alive.
Health is the most valuable thing.
Right. Without your health, you have zero wealth.
Yeah, I've seen that one. That brought tears to my eyes, that one.
Yeah. He said,
Frank has a question. He put his hand up. Frank, did you have a question, bud? You just need to unmute. Frank Masters.
Wait, maybe he can't unmute. Let me. Well, where is he? Frank. Let me go to the top here. I'm asking you to unmute, Frank. Can you unmute?
Maybe he hit his hand up button by accident, I guess.
Possibly.
Frank, if you can hear us, bud, for some reason we can't hear you because you're muted. You could put your question if you have one in the chat as well.
They only put something about microplastics. You know, I got rid of my plastic cutting board because every time you cut, a little piece of plastic go into your food. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I use this, either a wooden one, which is wood is okay. Okay. But I'd rather have a stainless steel cutting board.
Hi, I have a question.
Stainless steel, what?
Cutting board.
board.
Cutting board.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for Dennis. Quick question. If someone send money to participate in the VFS beneficial interest, when do you get some kind of verification to say that it's been received?
As soon as as soon as that website is up, you will get verification that you have signed up, and you will get a certificate in the mail of your beneficial interest. You will be getting, and everybody that has put their funds in so far will be getting a certificate telling them what that beneficial interest value is right now. And when it's time to convert it to shares, you'll be able to convert it to shares.
Okay, so we get nothing now to show that it's been sent because for
You
me,
will be
I'm
getting
in
it.
Canada and I had issues sending. And so I sent through PayPal. And all I have is the PayPal reference. Like, just wait until I hear from you.
Yeah, what has happened right now, like for instance, Ron has got $1,000 invested with us. He hasn't got any verification yet.
Oh,
Nobody has got any verification yet,
okay.
the money they put in, okay? But as soon as the website is up, it will be able to do that. And you know, the website is such that we can take any currency, including cryptos,
Beautiful.
okay? So that's what it's designed to do. Any crypto will be able to go through us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Georgia. I asked Frank to unmute a couple of times and he's not responding. So I
It
guess
doesn't
we
seem
can.
like he can unmute.
Yeah. Something that we'll share real quick and then we're gonna say goodbye. We are going to start on the Coffee and Crypto with Big Daddy call to request everybody to, when they're joining the call, to log in, so to speak. And that will help us to monitor a little more closely. We've been fortunate with not having any horrific situations, but we're gonna request that. I just gotta learn the new Zoom format. It's a little different, so, but you guys heard it here first. If we haven't put that out, we'll put it out in the emails, the notification emails, and in the Telegram group. But moving forward, I don't know when that'll be implemented, but you'll have to log into the call in order to be accepted in, so.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Okay, so thank you, everybody. God bless you all. I think we need to say goodbyes.
Yeah.
Just
All
for
right, God
now,
bless you guys.
just for now.
Just for
Thank
now.
you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, as always, Cecilia. You're a huge asset to the call. Ron, be safe out there, buddy, driving.
I will.
All great people here. And remember, prayer is powerful.
Absolutely.
Can
Have a
can I
great.
tell you guys a secret before we go?
Uh-oh.
I thought it was
I don't know.
11:30. I didn't realize it was 1:32.
It does happen
Oh my
sometimes.
God.
I'll be
just
talking
noticed.
to Cecilia sometime during the week and she'll go, "Do you believe that call went 3.5 hours?"
That is a long call.
It's 1:30. I thought it's 11:32. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I got
all
to
the other
do.
calls, they tend to just click the X and you're gone, you know, the time ticks off and it's out, right? So
I
It's
can't
better.
believe this.
Thank you. Thank you. Time flies when you're having fun.
Thank
that's it.
Yeah,
That's
great
it.
information.
Got
I love you guys,
company
but I
for
gotta
3.5
go.
hours driving down the road. That's awesome.
There you go. There you go.
You
Well,
guys
it's
keep
been
me
great,
company while I do
everybody.
my
Thank you.
laundry.
Okay, guys. God bless you all.
Hey,
Yeah, God bless
bye-bye.
you guys. Love you all.
Hold on.
Bye.
Have a
Thank
nice
y'all.
weekend.
Enjoyed the
Okay.
conversation. Thank y'all.
Thank you.